Yahoo! Welcome, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love, to Astro Fenixx, flying into the moment yet again and radiating love as always. And I am bringing back the moon transit videos. I don't think I've ever actually made it through a full cycle. Let's see what we get it done this cycle. Anyways, we're going to be talking about the moon in Aries, which is going to be here for the next couple of days, January 29th, the 30th, and 31st. Just to start off, of course, the moon regulates our emotions in many ways, our subconscious and these subtle realms, and our healing, and just this whole watery energy, right? And the moon in Aries is this moment where we're going to be reacting and responding a lot more to our character, to our personality. We may be taking more rash actions emotionally, just based off of how we're feeling in the moment. We maybe tend to take impulsive action, to do rash things, to say rash things. And we're definitely going to be feeling more inspiration and these initial moments, but then whether or not we can carry out this flame over the course of this lunar transit is really going to be up to us. A lot of times we'll get inspired during the moon in Aries, and it's that initial spark, that initial snap, but then whether or not we can actually maintain that flame and sustain it throughout the travel of the moon through the 12 signs is kind of another thing. But let's take a look, of course, here to see what is going on for this energy with the moon and it. Oh, hold on, wait. All right. Let's see what's going on exactly for these energies. So, as you can see right here, we do have the moon in Aries. Just having moved here is going to conjunct over to Chiron. So, of course, this is going to be us reacting and responding to this wounded healer like energy when it comes to Aries. So we may be looking at our actions, we may be looking at who we are, we may be looking at our personality, and we're going to be looking at these different personality traits that we have developed, and we're going to be reacting and responding to them, and based off of how we feel about things. Since this is Chiron, these may not be necessarily the easiest things to deal with. We may be like, oh, I don't know why I'm like this, I don't know why I keep doing this thing, and it can kind of get us down. But there's a beautiful thing here where we can turn. When we put the key inside the lock, a lot of times we like to just keep the key engaged with the door. We don't actually want to open the door to what's on the other side. So this is going to be an opportunity for us to actually open the door every single time that the moon comes over Chiron. It's an opportunity for us to actually turn the key, engage the locking chamber within that door, unlock the door, and walk into the next phase of our life, the next step in our evolution. So that's where the healing aspect comes. But sometimes when we put that key in, we can feel the emotions, we can feel the energy, we can feel maybe the trauma, the pain and stuff like that. That we can feel the wounds. Our wounds begin to kind of they begin to almost like vibrate. But then once we turn that key, open the door and step through, then we are healed. Right? So the moon, like I said, is going to be in really the first decan of Aries today. And it's going to, during this time, it's going to sextile over to the sun, which is probably going to be it's probably going to be like in the middle of the night, actually, going into January 30th. The moon is going to sextile over to the sun at 9 degrees. This is going to be happening very early Thursday morning, at least here on the East Coast. For some of you guys, it will still be the 29th. The moon in Aries. And what's interesting about this is that both of these planets' energies are going to be at 9 degrees, and 9 in numerology does relate to the Martian energy. It does relate to this Aries-like energy. So there's going to be some interesting mutual reception here with the moon sextiling over to the sun. This is going to give us the opportunity to really show a different side of ourselves. It's going to give us an opportunity to act in a way that benefits the collective and not just ourselves, but at the same time, we are still authentically ourselves and we're still doing things for ourselves and for our good. but it happens to also benefit the collective. This is also going to be a very good day to kind of really put yourself out there. If you've been thinking about making YouTube videos, if you've been thinking about going to that open mic night, if you've been thinking about doing something new and kind of putting yourself out there, putting yourself out there into the public eye, this will be actually a really good day to do it, especially if you decide to engage that lock with Chiron and actually open the door to a new reality. January 30th is going to be a very good day for you to actually step into that new life. And of course, the moon, as it continues to move throughout Aries on the 30th, is also going to square over to Jupiter. Before that, it had squared the nodes as well, the nodes which are in Capricorn and Cancer, respectively. The moon squaring Jupiter, Jupiter doesn't really like to be in Capricorn. And then we have the moon in Aries, which is going to have us want to be, like I said, a little bit more rash, kind of reacting passionately. And Jupiter in Capricorn is willing to shower us with gifts if we're willing to put in the work. So I think that's the thing. We'll get the sextile to the sun, and then we get the square to Jupiter, which in many ways is kind of like another mini sun. It's the second largest energy in our solar system, of course, after the sun. So Jupiter has a great deal of influence. There's a great deal of gravity here. And with Jupiter and Capricorn, it really is about putting in the work. And when we put in the work, we will get gifts. Our venture will expand. Our journey will expand. We'll gain a deeper sense of knowledge of what it comes from being consistent in our work, but we have to put in the work and the effort. And sometimes, with the moon in Aries, a lot of times we're so focused on just that initial spark, that initial passion. And there may be times where we're not necessarily feeling the inspiration, but we still have to keep moving forward anyways. Sometimes we do have to, it's interesting. It's a fine line between not forcing yourself to do something, but forcing yourself to do something because it's going to lead to a better future, right? So that's going to really be the 30th as well. The moon is going to trine over to Mars later in the day. It's going to be, I want to say, at 18 degrees, right? So once again, the number 9 kind of comes up. Remember, the moon sextile over to the sun, they were at 9 degrees. Now the moon's going to be trining over to Mars, and 1 plus 8 reduces to 9, of course, or 18 reduces to 9. 1 plus 8 equals 9. So this is, with the trine, this is definitely going to bring some type of miraculous energy and definitely a very harmonious aspect. And Mars, of course, is the ruler of Aries. So this is going to come down to whether we really do believe in ourselves, whether we really do believe that we are capable of this new journey, of this new life, of stepping into this new sense of self. This is going to be a great opportunity for us to take some very inspired action and to move into this whole grand new adventure. Now, as we move into Friday, this is going to be the big day. This is a huge day, and this has global implications too. Global implications, because the moon is going to be here at the end of Aries. And what's interesting about this is that this is going to be on the day where the moon does square over to Pluto. It does square over to Saturn, which has been doing this for a while when the moon goes into Aries. But the reason why there are global implications on this is because this is going to be the day, if you've been paying attention at all, this is going to actually be the day where the United Kingdom officially leaves the EU. And of course, they're going to this transition period, which Pluto is all about transitions. So now Britain is pretty much having to come up with a whole new persona because they've been a part of this group for such a long time. Now, what's interesting is that the moon is going to be sextiling over to Mercury in Aquarius. These are going to be at 25 degrees. 2 plus 5 equals 7. Saturn is also going to be at 25 degrees during this, and 7 is the energy of the Piscean energy. So it's going to be hard to kind of communicate what's going on, and everyone's going to be everyone's going to be kind of lost in their own delusions and fantasies about this transition. And it's not really just Britain leaving the EU. That this is just one of the biggest examples of this energy. Of course, we have the impeachment trials over here in the States, and you could say that a decision may be made around this time, or it may be Saturday, who knows. But this is really kind of the timeline where it's interesting how both the UK leaving the EU and this whole Trump impeachment trial kind of culminating to a conclusion or a transition around the 31st is very interesting, considering that we get this harsh square. I say harsh square, but we get this square over to Pluto and Saturn, which are in Capricorn. The only thing that kind of makes this, and of course, the moon doesn't like to be in Capricorn, so that's what makes this harsh. It's a lot of people are going to be really trying to figure out who they are in this new world, who they are in this new coming of society that we see, and how society is really shifting forever. It's definitely going to be very intense. I think the first day is definitely going to be a lot more focused on the self. The second day, the 30th, is going to be more so starting to focus on the people and, our inspiration, what we really do want for ourselves, and whether we really do believe in ourselves, and of course, connecting with other individuals. But then on this last day, it's like the world stage is going to be pretty much on fire, and it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. So that's really what's going on with the moon in Aries. I'm going to just draw one card just to see what's going on. And let's see, let's get back over here. We have rainbow blessings. Blessings are showering your life. This is an incredible card because I like to think that the whole trine aspect does bring blessings, and this is going to happen when, of course, the moon trines over to Mars, and Mars does rule Aries, right? So we are definitely all being inspired to create this new step in our journey and to actually take this next step. And this is pretty much an incredible moment, because we really are seeing the birth of a new reality. We're seeing the birth of a new self here. And this rainbow blessings card, I like this. Like, we're all in this together, and we all want to create a better world. We all want the good life, right? We all want to do better. And sometimes we can get hard on ourselves. Sometimes we can get down on ourselves. That's the other thing. When the moon's going to square over to all this Capricorn energy, there can be the sense where we may look at our life and our social standing, and we may get down on it, and we may react in an impulsive manner to try and make ourselves something that we're not, or try to paint ourselves in an image that we feel is going to be accepted by other people. But you have to really just trust yourself, beloved, and just trust that, your journey is your journey, and not everyone's going to understand it. And every people that do understand it, there are going to be seasons where they don't get it. So you have to trust yourself. You have to trust your higher self, and just believe in yourself, beloved. Believe in yourself. If anything that you gain from this moon and Aries transit is to believe in yourself, no matter what's happening around you, no matter what's happening in the external world. If there's one thing, is to just believe in yourself and to trust in yourself. That is going to be it for this lunar transit video. It's a little bit longer. I kind of like this setup where I actually show you guys the chart as well. So it may be a little bit longer, but I like this format. Let's see how we can keep this thing going. But that's going to be it for this moon and Aries transit video for the 29th, 30th, and the 31st. I will see you all very soon when the moon goes into Taurus, and we'll talk about those energies. I love you all so much. Y'all take care. Stay blessed. Thanks for watching. And as always, my beautiful brothers and sisters, always remember to keep moving forward, to stay focused, and Yahoo! Smile often.